So this is the new Vtube model I made. Do you see it? It's right there. Right there. Let me zoom in a little for you. Is it still a little hard to see? Let me zoom in all the way. That's right. I created a 1 pixel Vtube model. Let's talk about it. Hello everyone! Today we are talking about my creation of a 1 pixel Vtube model. What does it mean? The implications? What did I find out? Was it possible? We're going to talk about that today. Now, if you are getting bored already or don't want to hear about anything beforehand, feel free to skip ahead to how it was done and the results and see what I actually created. Now then, with that out of the way, hello again everyone, especially you uninitiated. I'm Darus. I'm potentially insane, but I also do Vtube model making, especially with the rigging and animation parts, as well as content creation. And if you are ever curious and ask me a question directly, you can always catch me when I'm streaming as well. Now then, with all of that out of the way now, we can now begin talking about what this video is about. The 1 pixel Vtube model. So before we get into what I did and what the results were, let's talk about the whys, the whats, the rules and everything else. So first off, why did I make a 1 pixel Vtube model? This is not something for anyone else. This is not even a really well-made model, but there's a point to it. It helps you understand the limitations that it would take to create a Vtube model, or also the lack of limitations. It's all about design and concepts and how to show emotion and action, even when you have little to work with. And so for people who are not that great at art or can't really think of a really fancy, festive, special Vtube model, this will help you understand how far you can go with how little. And that's the whole point of creating a 1 pixel Vtube model. It shows you what you can do with such little. And also, I'm terrible at art, so that made it a lot easier. So what are the rules when it came to making this model? First rule, it has to be 1 pixel. It cannot be a square representing a pixel or anything else. It cannot have designs in it. It cannot have pixels within it to showcase other parts. I could easily have copied this little square and made tinier eyes and other things for it and a mouth. That defeats it being a single pixel, because now it has pixels within pixels. That's not a pixel. A pixel is the tiniest square we can have that cannot have any features or design to it at all. That's the whole point. We are trying to limit ourselves as much as possible with this design. So it has to be 1 pixel. It cannot be tapered. It cannot be anything else. No features, nothing. Just 1 pixel. The other kind of restriction is it does in fact have to consist of 1 pixel on the art sheet. That was harder than you think, because a lot of things try to blend and anti-alias and other things with it, so that gave me a little bit of trouble, but we got it done eventually. At least it has to appear to be 1 pixel. That's the biggest thing there. Now I could have cheated in certain ways with the square. You would have never known, but we made sure it was 1 pixel because that's the point of this entire ordeal, this challenge to show what we can do and how emotion and descriptive a single pixel can be when representing a person as a Vtube model. Now, so what can we do beyond being a pixel? Just sitting there, right? Because that's all a pixel does. So what limitations did I lift and allow to? So it's still a pixel, but it can get bigger, it can get smaller, just like a Vtube model. It can go left, it can go right, it can go up, it can go down. It can rotate. So those are all some of the things I let it do. Now we also have the ability to change the opacity as well as the color, because I chose a white pixel because we can use color to define emotion and action as well. So there's probably a few things I would have done differently and better when making this model. If I was really, trying to make a model, I would go back, I reinvent, rework it and all that. But this is all just to show you all how a single pixel can come to life to show emotion and be descriptive of the person's actions and feelings and thoughts. So let's get into the creation of the model. Let's talk about the art. And done. Okay, yeah, that was all it was. It's just a pixel, guys. We move on. We save it as PSD. We import into i2D, and yeah, that was it. All right, so let's talk about the rigging. The rigging was where we're trying to give it the ability to come to life and everything else. And I'll tell you guys what I was working on and doing. And then I'm going to just go ahead and show you the time lapse itself. But just understand this. We gave it movements for left and right, like a head, right? So the idea is the pixel bouncing around when you're moving, when you're talking, being incredibly animated and just, bouncing around, like kind of like a pixie kind of thing, like a fairy or just some annoying sprite. It's in a kind of concept of just being there, bouncing around to show emotion and action and stuff. Because that's what you need with the Vtube model, a lot of action. Vtube models that don't do much, that doesn't really cause a lot of attention. This one, we are making bouncy as can be, right? So we're doing that. We're also adding in a trick that I already do, like this. You see my eyes? Opacity based on blinking. So it just disappears when you blink, and that gives you that a little bit more motion and effect, because we don't have much for the Pixtuber. Let's call it Pixtuber. It's now a Pixtuber, everyone. I declare the one pixel Vtuber be a Pixtuber. Anyways, moving on. So we have that, right? So we also have, now I tied mouth open and mouth form to talking a bit. And even though it doesn't have a mouth, we tied colors to emotions. Red for angry and some gentle colors for happy, right? As well as the intensity based on how open your mouth is. So if you're just mumbling a little bit, it will kind of, grow and change of intensity based on when you're talking and stuff. So it does have some emotion to that. Now I might have changed it around a bit and tied that more to volume and stuff, which I also create a loudness parameter for. And the reason for that is to tie that to some physics. And then we're going to rig in the loudness in the other stage. We're basically setting up in Vtube Studio to kind of track with the sound of my voice and the loudness to create kind of a vibration effect. So we created a lot of physics for this model, which is just more bouncing left, right, up, down, as well as some rotation and stuff like that. We also added in rotation as well, just for the neck movement a little bit. So it does have some fundamentals to just basic movement based on the head. The whole point was to keep it mobile, to keep it animated and distinct, while also being able to show emotion. So if a person was laughing, it would bounce around a lot, shake a lot. Loud voice, angry would be a big bright red with, moving and vibrating model. The more loud you got, the more it vibrates and stuff like that. And honestly, this model can even be fine-tuned further afterwards. So that's another thing. So we get basically a lot of physics. We get some rotations, we get some coming forward and backward. So if your head gets closer or further from the camera, you can also see that as well. I don't even have that with my model right now. I should kind of probably work on that, but I got a lot of other things working on my model, so I'm not going to do that right this moment. But with this model, with it being just one pixel, how could I not add in features after feature after feature? It's not difficult. And if I really wanted to just put a week into this thing, I could give it all sorts of incredible features and actions and animations, and it would be no work at all because it's just a single pixel. I don't have to worry about draw order or any more difficult things than that. There's no issues. There's no other objects or things. It is a single pixel image. Now, we did have one problem with this model, though, fortunately, which was trying to keep it with that pixel shape. I just shoved a bunch of the same picture on top of it multiple times. Once I figured out how to fix all the corners and stuff like that. It was really hard for the meshing and stuff to work with it. But what I just ended up doing was copying it like 9 times. So it's basically 9 pixels in 1 pixel space, but it looks like a pixel, acts like a pixel. It is technically a pixel. It doesn't deviate from being a pixel. It's just a pixel 9 times over. But that's just to make sure that we get over the kind of blurring effects. The anti-aliasing was giving me a lot of trouble. That was the hardest part of this model, was keeping it to look like a pixel in every form. It had to look like a pixel in the art program. Very easy. Had to look like a pixel in the animation program. Not so easy. Had to look like a pixel in Vtube Studio. Super not so easy. Every time I changed to a new medium, it went blurry. That was a problem, guys. But we got it to work. We succeeded. And so I'm just going to go ahead and show you guys the time lapse, and you can see what I did there. And for the moment of truth, did we successfully create a pixel V2 model? It looks like we did, everyone. It needs a bit more fine-tuning. A little bit of head movement goes a long way. A little bit of reverse, too. I might have gotten some of the numbers a bit off. But otherwise, it looks like it has worked. Once we fine-tune it, we'll see how it goes after that. Honestly, it needs a little bit more fine-tuning, especially. Some of the mouth openings, the turns are in the wrong directions and stuff. And honestly, I think I might have improved, made the physics a little too strong for it. But otherwise, it's doing its job. Let's fine-tune it a little bit, shall we? Well, everyone, let's see if the improvements have worked. And they have. A little bit of fine-tuning in Vtube Studio has made the pixel a lot more, well, animated and better and more in control with the way that we are doing things. In fact, another fun feature added in is voice volume with loudness and shaking. And so the more I talk, the more wild the pixel gets. The louder we get, the crazier it becomes. Yes, it's very nice, right? But we also have things such as mouth form being set to the darker, deeper, redder colors, and the brightness of the color based on how much your mouth is open. Just keeping it nice and simple to keep with some of the original, well, parameters we had that we decided to get rid of and bring back. So when you're very angry, you get a lot redder. When you're very happy, you get a lot warmer. That's how we've designed it. And also shaking from the loudest, like I said before. Then we got movement to the sides and front and back. That's how the pixel rolls, and if you want to go back there and start shaking around or coming up close and talking right there, you can with the One Pixel Vtube model brought to you by MadWorks. Well, everyone, that's the One Pixel Vtube model. What are your thoughts? As for me, my final verdict, it was an entire success. We have proven that a single pixel can in fact be an entire Vtube model, showing characterization and emotion. So, if you are thinking of making your own Vtube model, don't be afraid. Even a single pixel can do it, so whatever you draw definitely can, right? But that's it for today, everyone. So, if you would like to see more content like this, make sure you leave a comment. I kind of need to know what you guys like so I can start, building it accordingly. And also, I like hearing your ideas and thoughts as well. So if there's something you guys would like me to make a video on, be sure to let me know. And you can like and subscribe to support the channel, or come check me out when I'm streaming if you want to, talk to me live. Ask me some questions. It's fine, I'll answer them. Anyways, everyone, that's all for today. So I will see you all next time. So, ta-ta!